This is a Pele Media podcast.
Welcome back to Goonies Minute, everybody. Goonies Minute is the fan podcast where we carefully explore the movie Goonies minute by minute. This is Brady.
And this is Chris.
And we are here to go over minute number 99 today. Chris, we are almost there. Not only are we almost to episode 100, we are almost to episode 107, which is going to be the final minute of Goonies Minute.
Let's do 99.
Let's do 99. In the previous minutes, the Fratellis entered One-Eyed Willie's private quarters and began to fill bags with treasure. Ma Fratelli removed some gold coins from a hanging scale and inadvertently triggered one of One-Eyed Willie's booby traps. At minute 99, gears and pulleys go into motion all around the room. Francis shouts for them to hurry. We cut back to the Goonies. Data, Mikey, and Brand have made their way up to the opening in the cave wall. It's too small for them to fit through, and Brand says that he needs some light to see the area. Mikey reaches into Data's backpack for one last candle. They light the candle, but it begins to spark. They quickly realize it's dynamite and drop it. They all jump into the water and duck for cover. The dynamite explodes, causing the boulder to fall in front of the opening. We cut back to the ship. Rocks are falling onto the deck and smashing the ship into pieces. The Fratellis all run to the plank and jump for their lives. And thus ends minute 99 of the Goonies. Ma Fratelli has initiated one final booby trap. Willie had one last thing set up, and it was the scale of gold coins hanging right in front of him. And she's reached over for it and initiated the trap, and then all of a sudden, everything in the room starts going haywire. And Francis starts yelling about how, you know, we got to get out of here. These are booby traps. And Jake says, booby traps? What booby traps?
Yeah, he was oblivious to that.
Yeah, exactly. And Francis says, you know, booby traps like in the movies. And then he says something right there that we could not figure out what he's saying. So, and I looked for a draft of the script that would have had it, but the draft that I found was like, I don't want to say an original draft, but a much earlier one. And something got my attention in that was a little more interesting, and that is that in an original draft, whenever Ma reaches over and initiates the Rube Goldberg booby trap, the first thing that happens is Willie's skeleton is apparently tied to some strings, and it shoots up out of his chair and flies over to the helm of the ship. Exactly.
My goodness.
And it's, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, maybe it would have worked upon seeing it, but not upon reading it. It sounded really lame.
No, I'm just glad, because there's a few things here and there that we hear about that I'm glad were not kept in this movie.
Exactly.
What else you were saying?
Well, yeah. Another thing that the movie, you know, I guess it's safe to talk about now because it didn't happen. But the movie was originally going to end with One-Eyed Willie's ship, the Inferno, sailing out to sea, and then Mikey was going to turn around, look into the camera at us, the audience, and he was going to be wearing One-Eyed Willie's eye patch. He was going to pick the eye patch up and then wink at the audience, and the movie was going to cut to black.
Which would have been a Ferris Bueller type thing.
Exactly.
But that was done throughout the movie in Ferris Bueller. And this would have just, I mean, I don't know what it would have done. It would have been like you do pretty much one thing the entire time, and then all of a sudden, the end, you break. Yeah. It's like a wrestler breaking character in the middle of a match.
It's breaking the fourth wall. So it just would not have worked here. Like you say, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It works in a movie like that. In fact, it's almost necessary in a movie like that. But a movie like The Goonies that's just as much drama heavy as it is comedy, you can't do that. You can't break the fourth wall. And yeah, God, it's just
well, the fact that they even thought about that.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder if they were going to do that as a comedic thing just for themselves and take it out, or I wonder if somebody was actually thinking about keeping that in. That's the scary part.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I don't think they would. As much money as it takes to film these things and as much manpower that's involved, there's no way they would have done this unless they actually considered thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to do something just for the heck of it.
No. And so, you know, in the 80s, that was kind of a big thing, is breaking the fourth wall. You would often see it happen right at the end of a movie, and right as, let's say, someone is winking at the camera, it freezes, and then the credits start to roll.
One of the you know what Superman movie? It's either one, 2, or 3. I can't remember which one, where he's in space, he looks left, he looks right, he looks at the camera and smiles and then flies off. Man, I can't remember which one it is.
I'm not sure.
But he does. But think about it. That would make sense because that's a Donner thing right at the end. So
could be.
I can't. And it's terrible because I've seen each of those movies probably 20+ times.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which one it was.
Who knows?
But I know it's one of those three because it's a left, a right, and he's right in front of the camera, and then he looks straight ahead, he smiles, and he flies off. So that's probably Donner that was thinking about doing something like that.
You know, to the best of my knowledge, there is not a Superman minute. No one's done that yet.
What in the world?
I know. Man, somebody should really get on that.
Yeah.
Somebody should really get on that.
No, like me and you, right? Huh? I know you're ready to do another one. We'll do 1 and 2, right?
Oh man, who knows?
I tell you, I could do 2 probably better than 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could do I could do 1 real well. 1 and 2 I could do really well. But anywho, back to the Goonies.
So yeah, it's we also have another great shot of the cave and the pirate ship. Now the last time that we saw it, we were debating if it was a matte painting or not, the ship in the background. You can definitely tell it was a blue screen right here, and obviously for safety's sake. I mean, you can't have these giant rocks falling around the actors and everything like that.
So as the boulder's falling, there's a specific shot at about 50 or 51 seconds, and we had talked about the lighting inside of this cavern, this giant cave where the Inferno is, and we joked about how in the world could all that light come through that one hole?
Right.
But you can really see light coming down from the top, that that there's actual sunlight that's getting in there. You can see it in the water. They did a good job of that. So it starts to make sense a little bit more. They actually did think about this.
Yeah, and that's assuming they were, but
because I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, we never see them
right when they come out of the chute.
Right.
From the tunnels, and also from the shot that we talked about from behind the ship going back to where they would come out of the tunnels. We never saw any of that light, but there is actual light for the first time that we can recall.
Which makes total sense because we see rocks falling from the ceiling.
Right.
So the entire cave is coming apart.
So that's pretty well thought out.
That's a cool touch. Yeah, it's a very cool touch.
We're talking about these rocks falling, but we jumped ahead just a couple seconds. The dynamite. We had seen this dynamite way earlier in the movie, and it's funny they did not use the dynamite earlier, even though they didn't know it was dynamite to light stuff. They magically had candles and lanterns. However, now they decide to light this dynamite.
Well, they didn't know. It was an accident. Because remember, they're looking for...
I'm going to tell you right now. If I had things like that, I would... it's written on the side of it. I don't care when I was a kid or not. I was never that absent-minded.
Uh-huh.
I might have been a little bit attention deficit problems, but that's one of those things that just like I'm not going to light something without looking at it first.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat something without knowing what it is. Like, you ever had somebody at the dinner table? I said, I want you to try this. What is that? Just try it.
Oh, hell no.
That infuriates me. It makes me angry.
Yeah.
And I get and I actually get loud and like confront this person to the point where they don't try to make me do it anymore. But that's pretty much all I have.
That's pretty much all I have, too. And we are about to be in the triple digits, but not for long, because we are only going to go up to minute number 107 of this movie. Just as we did with Ghostbusters Minute and Jurassic Park Minute, we're not going to be going through the closing credits of the movie. We kind of just want to go right up until the end of the story, which will be One-Eyed Willie's ship sailing off into the sunset. So that's what we're going to...
You just spoiled it for our listeners.
No kidding. There are people who are listening to this show who haven't seen the movie. That
doesn't really happen. Watch anyway.
Yeah, watch it anyway.
Or listen to us, because we'll be the ones that tell you what really happens.
Exactly. So definitely be sure to tune back in on Monday with minute number 100 of the Goonies, and we will see you guys then. And until then, this is Brady.
And this is Chris.
And we are here to remind you that Goonies never say die. Goonies Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the show, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can find us at GooniesMinute.com, Facebook.com/GooniesMinute, Twitter.com/GooniesMinute, and at Instagram @GooniesMinute. You can contact us at GooniesMinute@gmail.com. You've been listening to a Pele Media podcast. For premium content and exclusive podcasts, visit us at Patreon.com/PeleMedia. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/PeleMedia and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/PeleMedia.